Get the F word out of here.
Hey y'all, this is Josh Kaiser. Before you get the F out of here, make sure you tune in to the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber.
Go back to how we were before. She said the F word.
Welcome to the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast with Aaron Schreiber, brought to you by Arlo Revolution. Each week, Aaron connects melodies and memories with fans and artists from all genres of life. When all else in life is gone, only music will be left to leave the legacy of life's adventures. Please welcome your host for the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast, Aaron Schreiber.
What is going on tonight, everybody? Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, if you guys are in the chat tonight, go ahead and drop where you guys are at and how it's sounding on your end. Actually, drop a little like in there, maybe a share if you can too, because this is gonna be a really good one tonight. I'm
super excited for tonight.
So, but yeah, definitely let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if it sounds good. Does it sound good on your end? We've got like a little delay.
Sounds good on my end.
Did you just cheers the mic with your coffee cup?
I did. I didn't mean to do that, y'all. I needed a cup of coffee tonight. This one tired mama, but. Yeah, no, sounds good on our end. I'm good. Right. Hallelujah.
Ready?
Let's do it.
First off, yeah, before we jump in, though, if you guys are, we're sorry we are a little late. We ran into major technical difficulties tonight. I do not know what was wrong with our soundboard, but that Tascam soundboard, it came out looking pretty damn good right about now. All right, y'all. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome everyone to season 5 of the Gainin Fast on Memphis podcast, a place where we connect melodies and memories with fans, artists, and passionate, driven individuals in and around the music community. I'm your host, Aaron Schreiber.
And I'm your co-host, Jillian Schreiber.
Our mission tonight is to provide a platform for passionate singer-songwriters, motivated fans, or just someone who is making a difference in the world and is willing to share their stories with us. We hope everyone listening leaves inspired with a positive outlook on life and begins connecting their own melodies with memories. But tonight we are presented by our good friends over at Arlo Revolution, cinematic wedding films, music videos, and promos. Find them at arlorevolution.com. One tree planted. For every 1,000 downloads we get of the show, we plant a tree with one tree planted. Download the show today on your favorite podcast app. And then finally, Pod Decks. Pod Decks are the hottest tool to get your next great interview. Unique interview questions in the palm of your hands. And then to our on-screen sponsors that you see tonight are Art on a Higher Wire by Joel, original artwork inspired by your life moments. Treasure photos and memories, and my good buddy Corey Oliphant, the original church choir. Honored to have him in the OC each week. But if you guys are looking for ways to support or sponsor the show, head on over to our Patreon page. I always on that same word. I get caught up. I don't know why. It's the heart and soul of our show. Tiers start at just $1. If you sign up for a full year, you get 2 months free. Patreon, something you can't do. The next best way is to help the show grow is like, share, and review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. So look for us. Give us a little review. Share it if you can. If you guys are listening, we do go on the streaming side. We do go live mostly on Monday nights. Tonight's a little special night, so we had to do a little special something. But make sure you guys do check out GainingFastOnMemphis.com for all your needs. Some really cool stuff. Taylor this week, new podcast, or not a new podcast, but new concert review for the Wilder Blue. And we have a video interview coming up here this weekend with her. So we cannot wait to share that.
So excited.
It's a really good interview.
She's awesome.
Very good interview. And then we're going to see our good buddy Josh Kaiser and Drake White this Saturday night. So be watching for some cool little footage from that. But yeah, I'm ready. I think tonight's going to be a good one, though. You ready?
So excited.
I know. I know you're excited. I am too.
All right, guys. Love him.
Tonight we welcome in River House artist Steven Wilson Jr. The Southern Indiana native started boxing at a very young age. But it was science and music that would bring him to Nashville. The singer-songwriter knows how to paint pictures with his lyrics while putting you into every lyric. Buckle up. I promise you, it's going to be a good one. What's up, buddy? Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can, man. We are excited for tonight. Welcome to the show, dude.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Really great meeting you all.
Oh, man, you too, man. When we got Alicia reached out to us, man, and it was just awesome when she dropped your name. I was like, dude, I love this guy. I've known you've written for with Jeffrey Steele, Travis Meadows, 2 of my personal favorites. But before we jump into all of that, I want to go back to back when you were just crawling around, man. If you can remember your earliest music memory, kind of what got you going, man, got the little musical waves going on you.
Oh, wow. Shoot. I honestly, my first musical memory, I have to say, is hearing that song by the Cars called Drive. I don't know what it is. There was some time in my life that you can go on thinking nothing's wrong. Bye-bye. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? That chorus, that's for some reason, like when I hear that song, that chorus, I'm like in my mother's womb. I don't know. That's the only way I can explain it. I am like, I don't know. I hear heartbeats, and it's like that's probably my first musical memory that I can think of. But the first time music really ever hit me was I had this really long school bus ride to school. Like we were the first kids on, last kids off. So it was an hour and a half there, an hour and a half home, and it was nothing but like Life's a Dance country music, like all the way there. And I remember this song by Tim McGraw came on called "Don't Take the Girl," and I had all this kind of issues, family stuff, like domestic violence, all this stuff going on with my mom and her new husbands and stuff. So I was constantly like worried about my mom and her safety. And I was raised by my dad. He was a really great dad, and but I got to see my mom a good bit as a kid, and I had a ton of like anxiety around that. And I remember this song came on. I was on this school bus, like 12 years old, like this kid in Southern Indiana, and this song come on, and 3.5 minutes later or so, however long it is, I was a disaster, like there on the school bus. And I was able to like copy and paste my mom's situation into this song that had nothing to do with
you felt it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really like, don't take the girl, God take me, don't take the girl. That was like somehow like as a young kid that like resonated with me, and it had nothing to do with the writer wasn't going after that. They were like basically capturing an intention. And then I was able to like become the star of that song for 3.5 minutes. And I was wondering like at the time, like what the hell just happened to me. Like it was a bit of a, like I'd seen movies, I'd seen all kinds of things that took way longer to have any sort of effect like that on me. And this song was a little bit like magical. And after like I instantly kind of had to like wonder like who are the wizards behind that, who created that magic. And I found out it was these songwriters in Nashville, and then ever since then, that was probably when I first got bit by the bug of understanding that this is what a song can really do. I'd only been hearing songs my whole life. I'd never really been listening to them, and I finally listened to one that had that perfect formula for doing that. And it was like, whoa.
When it finally hit you, it finally like grabbed you and said, hey man, this is what's going on, man. It became real.
Yeah, it put me in a machine. Like it created like, and I'd never experienced that before. And ever since that moment, I was like chasing that feeling. And that's basically, as a songwriter, that's all I'm trying to do is create the same experience that I had. So.
We're gonna get into it. You kind of already have, for at least for me, in a way. But I love that how you said that about a song, how it wasn't the direction the writer was going, but how you took it. I'm a huge Eric Church fan, but I'm a bigger Casey Beathard fan too. I love his writing.
Sure, yeah.
An early song that Eric recorded that wasn't his own was Like Jesus Does. It's a huge song, and it's like Love You Like Jesus Does. I'm like, that's not for like a wife or a girlfriend. That's for a mom. I'm like, that song, like no one's gonna leave a wife or a girl. They're gonna leave you out. Mom won't ever leave you like that. And I asked Eric one day, I said, how did you take it? He goes, dude, the way you said it about it is more meaning for a mom in a way. And the writer, I don't think was meaning him for the mom, but I don't know, it was my mom and I's first song we danced to and stuff like that. I like it, how we could take songs and kind of make it our own in a way.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect song, and there's so many songwriters and artists that have been able to do that, and I think that's the most enjoyable and kind of timeless component of music. Because if you make it all about the artist, it only has so much sustainability. But if it all becomes about the listener, like you and your mom are the star of that song, and everybody else in their situation becomes that star, and the song lives forever.
Exactly, dude. And I love that. And because that's like everybody says, songs will be here long after we are. And that's how we leave our staple in the world.
One can only hope.
So you were a boxer too, man, growing up. Tell me a little bit about boxing. Is your dad boxer too, or what got you into it, man?
Yeah, my dad was a fighter, and he got into it. Like he was really there. He and my mom were babies raising babies, and they divorced when I was about 5, and my dad was like about 5 years into his career, and he was boxing out of Indianapolis, and I used to go with him to the gyms and stuff like that, and watch him fight and watch him compete a bunch. And a lot of times, me and my brother or me and some other kid would open up the fights. It was this weird kind of like we do it at these police athletic clubs, and there's all this like under the table gambling going on and stuff. And it was pretty wild because, you would wear like our color, like red gloves, red headgear, like red bands, and they would wear blue gloves and everything. Like, so it'd just be like yelling your color. They didn't care about your name. They just be like, red, blue, go blues. Like almost like
medieval times.
Like they were gambling, and I was the dice. And so they were like, or I was one of the dice. And but it was also really cool because, I got to have all these crazy experiences. And so my dad started training me and my brother I fought my first fight when I was about 7 years old, and then fought for, my early teens. And then I quit, and my brother kept going. He became like a junior Olympian and a silver gloves champ. And then he and I both fought in the Golden Gloves later, and all that stuff. So it was all, it was just kind of a family tradition, but I think it was my dad's way of preparing me inadvertently for life, because I was a real weird kid. We were very different. I have his name, and I have his eyes, but we were very different as people. Like I was very academic and very quiet and weird, and just a bit of an oddball, very, very quiet. And he was, kind of a bit of a personality. He was really good at sports. I wasn't really good at team sports. He was really good at all the sports, and I was just really good at boxing. That was my only thing, because I never had to let anybody down. So it's just me, so I could handle that. And but he kind of set a bar really high, because I don't think he really knew what to do with me once I got into like academics and music. It was like, okay, you're kind of in a world that I don't understand, but if I can put you in a arena where you have to fight another human being for 11 minutes and walk out, win or lose, then I think there's very little you can't do. Like it's like a really high bar for anxiety inducing situations that you're going to get into in life, whether it's a traffic jam or whether it's performing at an arena in front of 15,000 people or whatever it is. Once you fight another human being, it's like, oh, okay. it's not that bad. And it was his
for life.
Yeah, it was his way.
His boy named Sue.
Yeah, totally. It was like his preparation, and I don't think he really was going after it that way, but that was, and subconsciously it was his way of kind of doing that. This is what I got to give to that situation. Other than that, you're kind of on your own. And
that's cool.
He was also my biggest fan. I got to say, he's been gone for 3 years, and I miss him every day. But but I just also
I think about that all the time, dude, because my dad's mid-70s now and everything else, and he's been my biggest supporter too, and they always are and everything. So I always think about that, and cherish it when it's here. But yeah, man, I definitely I love that story, man. I love that he got you into that. Now I had Jeremy Spillman on not too long ago, and he talked about like songwriting. And he's songwritten wrote with Eric Church before about sparring, almost like in songwriting and boxing, like or them being one and the same in a way. Have you ever approached songwriting that way, like kind of like you're sparring with another co-writer, or like you spitting out your favorite line, they're going to spit out their favorite line back, and you're trying to beat that line? Have you ever looked at it that way?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's very much like a set of combinations that you start like, and everybody has their own tricks and everybody has their little thing. So there you get to see like two different styles kind of clash together in the ring, but instead of like beating the shit out of each other, we're on the same team. Yeah. And can I say that word? Is that word?
Yeah, you can.
All right. Okay. Shit, yeah, you can.
Hell yeah.
But
Put an E next to these episodes for a reason.
all right, good deal. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of. But at the end of the day, we both win. We hopefully both walk out with the best song. It's kind of a forged in the fire moment where we kind of get to sharpen each other's swords and really, hopefully in the best of situations, show the best of what we have. Because that usually yields the best song. And by the way, Jeremy Spillman's a beast and a good friend of mine, and he couldn't have hit the nail on the head. I think it's a little bit of a sparring match, but it's also a little bit of a tennis match, so, or ping pong, whatever you want to call it.
Have you read his book yet? That book is awesome, man.
Divine Devils. I have not. I need to dig into it, and I
halfway through. I finished it, but it's really good. The parts I read, it's awesome guy, awesome man. So over the years, you finally decided to embark on Nashville. Well, what part of Southern Indiana are you from?
So I'm from a little cornfield town called Seymour. It's where John Mellencamp is from, actually.
Okay. Yeah. We're located in Chicago, so that's why I was curious because Indiana all the time on our way to Tennessee. So
well, it's Southern Indiana. It's Kentuckiana, I guess they would call that area. It's where the Midwest and the South shake hands, that kind of junction spot. And I don't know why Kentuckiana is the thing. It should be Indiucky, I guess. I don't know what would be better. I think.
So did you do the indie band? Were you in the indie band before you went to Nashville?
No, I started that band
after you. So you already went.
Yeah, I came down here to go to school. So I came down here to be a microbiologist, and I guess a chemist as well. But so that was like, science was, my ticket out of my hometown at the time. Even though I love my hometown, but as a younger man, I was like a bit of, I was just ready to get out of there for a while. So I had a bit of a rebellious streak, and I knew science was my ticket out of there and my ticket to keep me out of there. And so I stuck with that. It's something I was good at, but it wasn't something I was passionate about. It was just something I just so happened to be good at. And so I finished my degree and started that band my senior year, right as I was graduating with my bachelor's. I was going to go get my PhD or whatever, and instead decided to go live in a van and play like 150 shows a year and tour. And
we hear this all the time. We hear the same stories. Like, I got this degree, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just live in a van for a little. It's like, I love that because it's where you follow your passion, man. It's your passion will always come out. And hey, if that doesn't work out, you always can fall back on being a scientist. Why not, right?
Yeah.
I love that you called yourself once a song scientist, and I really feel that about you because when I hear your songs, it's just there's a science to your music, man, to the songs that you've written, unlike anybody else's I've heard. I mean, and you've written some great songs with some amazing people already, but the stuff you're putting out personally right now is just, dude, I haven't heard stuff like this for a long time. I mean, we're going to get more into your music, but just phenomenal, blows me away. But I love that term, a song scientist. So I heard that earlier. I was like, dude, I love that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's the science part, comes into it a good bit. That's, I have a little bit of a chemistry component to what I do, but there's also a real spiritual element as well. So I have a lot of, kind of fundamentalist religion in my upbringing too. That's a whole other story, but there's a nice contrast with with faith and science, kind of the two warring heads, so to speak, in modern culture. But I find they're better friends than you think.
When I was researching and I read you were an R&D scientist, I need to know what R&D means. I mean, when I hear R&D, I hear research and development. So if that's the case, what were you digging into? What was like maybe some of your big finds or things that interested you or amazed you while you were working or going to school to be a microbiologist?
Well, I guess my finds, so to speak. I worked as a micro for a pharmaceutical company for a while, and then I worked for Mars, the food company. I worked in R&D for them, which does stand for research and development. I there's a lot of stuff I can't really talk about that I worked on in depth because I signed an NDA when I hired on there, so I can't get into depth. But there's a couple different products and stuff that I did a lot of formulations and product trials and stuff like that for them. There's this product out there called Dentistix Fresh, like it actually cleans your dog's teeth. That that was kind of one of my projects that I got to work on. And
you didn't try those out; those weren't your testers, were they?
No, I had my dog tried them out for sure, but I got a Saint Bernard laying over here next to me. But
awesome.
If he makes too much noise, let me know. But he's
good.
he's snoozing. But yeah, that and like a few other of their brand, line extensions and stuff like that, and SKUs I worked on. But yeah, I kind of got to the point where that job, I was, working in a lab and I was writing songs all the time. Even when I was working in the lab, I could kind of like work, do science with one hand and write songs with the other. And it got a little ridiculous to the point where I was, kind of starting to excel in the company and hit this point, kind of a crossroads where I had a really great coworker tell me that, they're about to put the golden handcuffs on you, where, with a company like that, which is a really great company, by the way, Mars really took great care of me, and they were an amazing employer to have, and they take great care of their other employees. But I knew, and he knew that, if I was going to excel in that company, that my songwriting days were probably going to become, a little bit more of a low priority, and if anything, fall to the wayside. And he hated to see that, and he just wanted to let me know, hey, this is where you are in your life. I was there 30 years ago. Maybe I wish, whatever, you can't really turn back time. I just want to make it aware to you. And about 4 weeks after that conversation, I put in my 2 weeks and walked out the door, and everybody was like, what the hell? And I said, I'm gonna go write songs until it turns into money. And
that passion again coming back at, yeah, dude, I love that, dude.
Yeah, and so I waited tables and bartended and did that for about 2.5, 3 years until this guy named Chris Oglesby at BMG Publishing heard one of my weird songs and pretty much signed me on the spot, and I'll be eternally grateful. And it basically changed my life right there.
What song was it that you heard?
Yeah, it was a song I've never released. It's called It's No Wonder.
Oh.
And I probably couldn't play it for you to save my life right now. But
do you think you'll ever release it down the road?
Maybe. I think I might have to. Yeah.
I always like to hear like I said, I'm a huge Church fan. His song was Lightning. It's off his first album, and that was the one that people heard and just they gravitated to, and it's what got him his record deal. So I always like to see what was the song that got you guys brought in. What was the song that grabbed them? So that's gonna be awesome. Hopefully one day you bring that song back around. That'd be cool.
I might just have to.
Especially if it got you your deal now. You almost got to do that down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you're gonna be joining Brothers Osborne on a European tour coming up. Dude, are you psyched about this? Or I know we're jumping on. How do you feel about like going over there? And I know it's a weird time right now in the world and everything going around, but I know it's gonna be really cool. I know you were in a couple songs with them, but like just to get out and about and play some shows is gonna be pretty neat, huh?
Oh, I'm super excited for that. I mean, I've been to the UK before, and I've toured over there, and those fans over there are just not to be matched. They're really passionate about live music, I gotta say, from my experience, and I just love those guys so much. The Brothers Osborne, they're the greatest live band in all genres, if not all country music, and they put on a hell of a show, and I'm just there to just kind of take that in and be there as a support act in any way that I can. I'm just honored that they asked me to come out and play with them, and they've been so supportive of me and my artist endeavors. I mean, honestly, how I met them is a friend of mine had heard this song. I sent it to her before I'd ever released anything. I was about to release this song called The Devil. It was my first song I'd ever released, and I sent it to my friend, and she responded by saying, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I sent this to the Brothers Osborne." And I was like, okay, I guess you liked it. And anyway, it wasn't long after that I got a call from from John, I think, or my publisher did, saying, hey, I would really love to write with him. And so it was a cool way, kind of how we connected. They just heard one of my weird songs and that I hadn't even released yet. And it was the kind of the song that started it all, really, for me as an artist. And and they heard it, and and just said, hey man, we'd love to write together. And then that question turned into, hey man, you want to come play some shows with us? And I'm like, I'm here for all of it. So
is that where well, make it a good one? Did that come out of that first right there that you guys had with them? Because that's one I love that song.
Oh, thank you. It is the first song we had ever written together, and it has a very personal story. It is if I'll go into it, I hope they don't mind. But so we were writing, it was our first song we'd ever written, and so we're writing this other song. This, I can't even remember what the title was. That's how, I guess, whatever it meant to us. But we were writing this other idea, and about an hour and a half into the write, I get this call from my sister telling me, hey, you need to be home for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. Make sure you're home for all the holidays, because Dad's not doing well. And it was a real, very hard text to you, because they were at the doctor getting a bunch of tests done that day, and I got that text in the middle of that write, and it was like a destructive text for me. Like I was like, okay, either I need to leave because I'm about to lose my shit, so to speak, and or I just need to stay and do what I need to do. And like, I didn't know, so I walked outside, told the guys, hey, I need to go take this call. And my sister told me this, and I sat out there for a good 5 minutes debating on what to do. Because honestly, at that time, I was like, I don't even remember the song we were writing. Like, I just, I was so out of my head. I was like, how can I even write a song right now? And so I walked back in, and my dad, I was just trying to think that my dad would probably want me to just plow through it, the boxer mentality, just, never give up, just keep going, and regardless. And I sit back down, and I'm about to tell the guys like what just happened. And even though I don't know them that well, I'm just about to tell them, hey guys, I probably need to bounce this. I just got some really rough news. And before I say that, John says, hey man, I know we're working on this idea, but could we maybe try a different direction? I have this idea that's just been kind of burning a hole through my head. And he starts singing this song, the chorus, and make it a good one, make it a long one. If you're going to pour one, make it a strong one. And he kind of just goes into the chorus, almost like he had the chorus, which is a huge part of the song, 75% written. And that chorus was the answer to my question, that do I continue or do I? And it was just like, okay, make it a good one, make it a strong one. If you're going to, or make it a long one. If you're going to pour one, make it a strong one. Give all your heart to someone, leave nothing unsaid or undone. Life goes by, 90 miles a minute. If you blink once, you might just miss it. So hold on tight, carnival ride around the sun. When the day is done, make it a good one. And I was like, okay, we're gonna make this song a damn good one. And I just put it, I didn't tell them anything. I didn't say a word to them about it. And we just dug into those verses, you ain't ever gonna find a U-Haul getting pulled behind a hearse. Leave the best of yourself behind you. You can't fit it with you down in the dirt. There's all that realness of that moment came out real thick and real just happened. And I walked away and just, bawled my eyes out all the way home, and told them about it about 6 months later, and they had no clue. And they were so sweet about it. They're like, dude, you totally could have left. You're like,
if I would have left, we would never had that song though.
I know.
Magic though. I mean, that's where we're almost, when people are at their vulnerable state, is when you get the best art out of someone. I mean, like artists, like painters. Sometimes when you see these painters, these people just lock themselves in rooms and paint these pictures, man. And that's why I always tell, like, I feel like songwriters are the same way. They're painting these lyrics and he's painting these pictures with these lyrics. And I love how that all comes by. And I know you say like your weird songs, like, and it's not weirdness. It's just art. It's just the way your art just screams. It's awesome, dude. And these little stories it's what's kind of bringing these songs to life. And I love this, man. I love that story about that. Because now every time I hear that song, now I'm going to think about that moment. So thank you for that. That's really cool.
Oh, you're very welcome. It really means a lot to me when I hear that song, or just when it came out. It was like, okay, it was a bit of a, I don't know, just a moment that I'll never forget.
Dude, it's an amazing story, dude. So we talked about writing with Jeffrey Steele, Travis Meadows. For you, who have you not written with, and who have you written with that you've just been blown away by? And like, who do you want to write with that kind of on your dream writes, maybe?
Oh, okay. Well, you mentioned Casey Beathard. Casey and I haven't written yet, so I would love to write with him.
Dude, that would be dangerous. Y'all two together. Whew.
Oh, bring it on. I ain't scared. But no, it sounds like fun.
Dude, that Heart and Soul album that Eric Church has put out, I feel like that was mainly, a lot of that was Casey Beathard. Behind that, right after he lost his son, it was months after he lost his son, he put that song or that album out, and I'm like, dude. So just the emotions that went out of that album was just blown me away. But
yeah, I agree. Well, there's other like Natalie Hemby. I'm a big fan of hers, and I'm a big fan of the Highwomen in general. Like, I would love to write with anyone in that band. But I'm a big Amanda Shires fan too, and so all those would be dream writes for me. Let's see who else that I'm probably drawing a blank on. But John Mellencamp, that would be a dream, right? I don't think he co-writes with people, but I would love to just sit around and eat a bologna sandwich or something with him and pick his brain.
Wait, dude, you're my neighbor technically now. So would you think the 1994 version of you would ever have thought that you would have a social media site that went from 5 followers to 16,000 followers in 24 hours over one song?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess not. Honestly, like, if you'd have told me as a kid, hell, if you'd have told me at 25 even that I would be singing songs like in the capacity that I would have believed you, because I wasn't really a singer. I wasn't trying to be a singer and never planned on being a singer. I was never one of those kids that wanted to be a star. I never wanted to be on stage. It wasn't anything. I hated attention.
Well, it's not like your dad got you, like you said, got you prepped with the boxing, kind of got you out there and pushed you a little bit, because that put you on a stage in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was like my first stage was a boxing ring, hands down. But that was different. I never wanted to be a star, so to speak. Like some kids just want to be a star. That's just never been in the cards for me, or at least wasn't in my mind. And I would have never believed that I'd be a singer. Honestly, I'd never really sang anything on my own until maybe 6 or 7 years ago, 6 years ago, and
it's awesome, man.
And now I am. So it's really weird.
So I want, real quick before we move on to our promote our sponsored section of the night. You're married to Lee Nash from Sixpence None Richer, which is amazing. But I want to talk a little bit about this new song y'all have made for this. So it was something about, you kind of started writing it before the pandemic or for the pandemic, and it turned into I was reading a little bit about, but the line, like, we love like hell and fight like hell too, or like that together. Like, when I was reading that, I'm like, damn, dude, that's my wife and I, like, to the T. Like, we'll fight, we'll have our arguments, and we've been together 17 years now. I think it's been. But I mean, yeah, she's my best friend at the end of the day too. So, but tell me a little bit about that song and just kind of how it became together.
Yeah, well, we were in the kind of beginning part of the pandemic, and here, sorry, I just lost my thing. But well, we were in the beginning part of the pandemic and got in a pretty, sizable fight, and and we, we're talking about, just the whole situation, and we decided to go out on a blanket on the yard in the backyard and just started writing a song. And Lee brought up this quote that she heard about Jamie Lee Curtis in one of her marriages, about the scene changing if you just wait. And we kind of were able to pull that idea into a song. And We're Not Made for This was just something that kind of came out naturally. It wasn't like we're not made to fight, we're not made to do all this stuff, but it's it just kind of took us through the whole spectrum of love. You're starting out with the I hate you, and and then the ending with the I love you, and everything in between, the egos and all those personality quirks that kind of, come into play when you're in a relationship, especially been together for so long and cooped up together in a pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a real easy song to write. It wasn't something that we had to labor over. Just like, okay, about 2 hours and a bottle of wine later, and a little bit of mild sunburning, we had the song.
Dude, it's a phenomenal song. I love it. That's why I'm like, I had to at least ask you about it.